Hi, I'm Megan and welcome to my kitchen. Today's What's for Dinner video is a spooky Halloween themed meal. If you are looking for some cute and easy ideas for your kiddos or your family for Halloween or for a Halloween party or, just an upcoming fun family night, just keep watching. First step before I start on these ideas, I do want to make just a quick disclaimer. Y'all, I am not super creative. I cannot take credit for these ideas. I found all of these on Pinterest. So I will link the items that I took, inspiration from down in the description box below for you. We're going to start out by making some lasagna. I'm going to show you the ingredients that I'm using. Here's what I'm using tonight. You totally feel free to use whatever you and your family like, what you've got on hand or what you've got on sale. I've got my lasagna noodles. These are just the regular ones, not the oven ready or no boil ones. Some shredded Parmesan cheese, ricotta cheese. If you or your family aren't fans of ricotta, no worries, just use cottage cheese. And if you or anyone in your family is a cottage cheese hater like I am, don't worry about it. You can't really tell in the finished lasagna. I've got some parsley flakes, Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, garlic. I've got some mozzarella cheese. I've got sliced and a block that I'm going to shred up. I'm just not sure how much I'll need of it, so I've got both. An egg, some pasta sauce. You can use your favorite brand or homemade. I have a little bit of ground turkey I need to use up, some diced onions I need to use up, and then on the far back right here, these are some leftover Mediterranean roasted vegetables I have from a few days ago. I will share my What's for Dinner video where I shared how I make that. It's basically like grape tomatoes, purple onion, red bell pepper, eggplant, zucchini, and I think that's all. But again, just trying to use that up. And then for the lasagna's face, you will also need some zucchini. I mean, really, you could use cucumber, just anything that's going to turn a little green or brown as you cook it, and then some black olives. Now, to make the pasta sauce, I have a little bit of olive oil in this pan. This is over about medium heat. I'm going to add in that little bit of ground turkey and these diced onions. I'm going to season this with some salt and pepper, give that a stir, and then just cook it until the turkey is cooked all the way through. Now, I used ground turkey. Obviously, it's lean, so I didn't have to drain off any fat. But if you're using, ground beef or sausage or pork, you may need to do so. I'm going to add in those leftover vegetables, and you can add whatever veggies in here you want. Mushrooms would be really good, and you don't have to use pre-cooked like I am. Like I said, they were just left over, but you can just cook them, until they're tender. I added in a little bit of minced garlic, gave that a stir, cooked that for about 30 seconds, and then I'm going to add in my jarred spaghetti sauce. Now, you do want to reserve some of the spaghetti sauce and set that to this side. Now, I'm going to add in a little bit of water. I think I probably used like half a cup of water, gave it a shake. And while I was digging around in the fridge, I saw that I had some of this Rayo's Alfredo sauce. There was only maybe a quarter cup in here, but I didn't want it to go to waste, so I just tossed it in with the sauce. I seasoned this to taste with some Italian seasoning, salt and pepper, and then I'm going to give this a stir and simmer it for just a couple minutes or so. Now, with lasagna, I saw maybe a year or so ago, I had some viewers telling me like, hey, when you're making lasagna, you don't have to boil your lasagna noodles. You can just add them to the lasagna. And I was like, that's not going to work. It totally does. But here's how you have to do it. This spaghetti sauce, I added more water than what I normally would. So if you see here, this is a looser spaghetti sauce, and that's the key to being able to use just regular lasagna noodles without having to boil them ahead of time. You just need to make sure there's enough liquid in there for those noodles to absorb it. Now I'm going to make the ricotta filling. So in this little bowl here, I've got some ricotta. I had a little bit from a different container that needed to be used up first. So that's what, that's why I've got two containers there. I'm adding some dried parsley, salt and pepper to this. And then I had some shredded Parmesan cheese that I needed to use up. So I'm going to use that. Sometimes I use grated from the, green jar. Just depends what I've got. Next, I'm going to add in an egg. And the egg just kind of helps keep the ricotta cheese a little tighter. That way it's not so liquidy. So I'm going to give that a really, really good mix, set that to the side, and we're ready to assemble our lasagna. So here I've got my baking dish. I think this is like an 8 by 11. Sprayed it really well with some cooking spray. I placed it onto a larger cookie sheet lined with aluminum foil just in case it bubbles over. We're going to add some of that sauce to the bottom, just a little bit, followed by our lasagna noodles. And again, remember, these are not cooked and they are not the oven ready. They're just regular lasagna noodles. We're going to take some of that ricotta cheese, add that on top of the noodles. And again, because we're using the uncooked noodles, you want to make sure you really cover the noodles completely with the ricotta mixture. Next, we're going to add some of the shredded mozzarella cheese, or shredded Parmesan cheese rather, and then that sliced mozzarella cheese. I'm going to do another layer of the spaghetti sauce, and just like with the ricotta, make sure you cover the entire surface. And again, you want your pasta sauce to be liquidy. If your pasta sauce doesn't have a lot of water in it, at the end before it goes in the oven, you can take like maybe a 1/4 cup of water and just go pour it along the edges of the lasagna. After the sauce, we are going to repeat the layers. So noodles, the ricotta, the mozzarella. I forgot to put Parmesan cheese on this layer, but that's okay. More sauce, and then we're going to end up with the final layer being the cheese layer. So we're going to do shredded Parmesan and then shredded mozzarella cheese. Now, I wasn't sure how this would end up, so I reserved some of the shredded mozzarella to keep on hand in case I needed it. You want to spray some aluminum foil really well with some cooking spray. Cover this tightly. You really want to cover it super tightly so that all of the steam is, entrapped in the foil, helping those noodles cook. I baked this at 375 degrees for 1 hour. After an hour, you want to pull it out and very, very carefully, because this is super hot, remove that aluminum foil. Now, I just took a spoon and kind of, moved the cheese where it kind of moved off from the side when I took the foil off. And then I added a little bit more mozzarella cheese just over the little parts where some of the red sauce was coming through a little bit. And now we're going to make our face. Now, when I saw this idea on Pinterest, I wasn't really sure how exactly to go about doing this so that, it looked like a face. The way that I figured out would be best to do it, or the way I assumed would be best to do it rather, would be to just do the cheese layer and then go back with the marinara sauce instead of trying to do the marinara sauce face and then do the cheese around it, if that makes any sense at all. So I just took this little spoon here, took that reserved pasta sauce, and just did a couple eyes. I used those sliced black olives for the eyeballs, and then just did a nose and a spooky mouth. Went around the outside, with a little bit more of that sauce to resemble a little face. And then I took some zucchini. I just basically cut like 2 kind of thinner pieces and then cut them into half moons and then cut them to look like little teeth. We're going to make a mouth. This is going to go back into the oven and bake for just another maybe 10 minutes or so. Once it came out of the oven, this is what it looked like. How spooky does that look? Now, with lasagna, you do definitely want to let it sit for at least 15 or 20 minutes before you serve it. Otherwise, it's just kind of lasagna soup. But this was delicious. Gary and I both loved this lasagna. It was so good. And this is something that's great to make for a party because you can easily double this recipe and make a huge lasagna. And it's really spooky. And as you can see, it's basically just a classic lasagna. You know what I mean? I just thought about this. You could even really take one of those like frozen Stouffer lasagnas if you really want to go for an easy dinner night, and then, just bake it according to the package instructions. In the last like 10 minutes, take you some extra pasta sauce or pizza sauce if you've got that on hand, and do a little face, and that'd be even quicker and easier. Next, we're making spooky veggies and dip. So here are the ingredients that I'm going to use. I've got some whole carrots, a cucumber, and then some ranch dressing I'm going to use to dip. So for the cucumber, all I did was cut off the ends, and then I cut the cucumber at a diagonal so that I got, more of kind of like a ghost shape. I was digging around in my drawers to see what I could do the little face with, and I found this hard plastic straw. So that's what I decided to do. I just poked a couple holes for the eyes and then used it twice to make the little mouth, and then that's it. Now, y'all, in the interest of full disclosure, I filmed me making these ghost carrots 3 times. And I don't know how it happened, but all 3 times I swore I was recording and I was not. So here's what I did for the ghosts. Just like the cucumbers, I took the carrot and I took bigger end of the carrot, and I peeled it, of course, and then I just sliced that into different slices, and then using that same plastic, the hard plastic straw, I did their little mouths, and then at the bottom, I just used a knife to cut, you know, their little, like the bottom ghost shape, and then I just took my paring knife and rounded off the top ends of their ghost heads. And then I had some grape tomatoes I decided to throw on here, and yeah, the ranch dressing to dip, super quick and easy, and these were so cute. Next up, you gotta have some kind of garlic or cheese bread with your lasagna, so we're making Mummy's garlic bread. Now, the recipe that I took inspiration from said to use like the loaves of garlic bread, so you kind of have that garlic bread shape. I mean, you don't want to use like, you know, the Texas toast size. I mean, you could, but it's not going to resemble a Mummy as much. But I was looking on Walmart and I found these ciabatta rolls, and I thought, oh, you know what, that kind of has like a little Mummy shape. So I decided to go with that. So that's what we're going to use. And then for the Mummy's bandages, we're going to use some sliced mozzarella cheese. I just took these slices and then cut them into smaller strips. The original recipe said that you could use mozzarella string cheese and just pull the strings apart. And then we're going to need some sliced black olives for the eyes. So this is so easy. All you're going to do is bake your garlic bread according to the package instructions. About 2 minutes before it was done according to the package, I pulled it out. You're going to take your mozzarella cheese, and again, whether you're using the slices that you cut into strips like me or the mozzarella string cheese, you just want to make it, you know, resemble a little Mummy. And then we're going to put the sliced olives on there for their eyes. Pop this back into the oven for, again, like 2 to 3 minutes for that cheese to melt, and that's it. So cute. And those ciabatta garlic bread rolls, those were really good. I'd definitely buy those again. All right, here are the plates. So we've got some of the lasagna, the garlic bread, the veggies, and the dip. And this dinner was delicious, and it looked super cute and festive, and it wasn't that difficult at all. To finish off our dinner, we need something sweet, so we're going to make Boo Brownies. Another super easy and cute idea. So you're going to need some brownie mix. Use your favorite, or if you have a homemade brownie recipe, use that. If you're using a mix like I am, you will also need the ingredients that the mix calls for. Now, I am going to use some Halloween sprinkles that I've got on hand, and then you'll need some of these Boo Oreos. These come out, you know, around Halloween, the fall, every year, and they're just regular Oreos, except they have an orange colored icing, and then one side of the Oreo has different like spooky Halloween designs. So we are going to preheat the oven according to our package instructions, and then we're just going to follow the instructions on the package for our brownies. Or like I said, if you have a favorite homemade brownie recipe you want to use that. So in my case, I added some water and the mix as well as a couple eggs. And then my box called for melted butter, but I was running low on butter, so I just used canola oil. You want to give that a stir, and then we're going to pour this into a greased baking dish. Now, a metal pan is better for brownies. It will bake more evenly than a glass pan will. So I'm going to spread that out. Next, I'm going to add on my Halloween sprinkles, and this is optional. The Pinterest recipe that I saw didn't call for this, but I had them on hand and thought, you know, it'd be a little cute. So now we're going to take our Boo Oreos, and here you can see this one says Dare to Dunk. One of them has like a Boo brownie or a little booth with a ghost on it. That's kind of where I got the name for this. One of them had like a witch. Another one had a spider. Just really cute. So we're going to put some whole Oreos, and then you want to chop some up and just lay those around. No particular rhyme or reason. We're going to bake these according to the package instructions and then allow them to cool. Now, brownies slice better if they're cool. You can also chill them a little bit just in the fridge, and they cut better. And it also cuts better if you use a plastic knife. So you just want to cut these up and serve them. You can put them on a little platter like this. I've got a little ghost platter, but these were yummy. I mean, you can't go wrong with brownies, right? And normally I'm not a big Oreo fan. Gary loves them, but I actually liked them in this. It kind of gave a little bit of a crunch to the brownie. It was really good. A couple quick notes. You could do like a family size brownie to do a 9 by 13 if you have a bigger family or doing it for a party or something like that. And if you can't find the Boo Oreos, or maybe they're a little outside your budget, maybe you can buy like the store brand Oreos, go ahead and do that. They don't have to have the cute little designs on them. You can absolutely make these just with plain Oreos just fine, and they'd still be delicious. So anyway, that is it for today's video. I hope that this gave you some easy and simple ideas that you can do, you know, like I said, for a spooky family night or Halloween party, something to take to a Halloween party, or for you and your family or just yourself to celebrate Halloween. All right, that is it for this video. I hope that you enjoyed it. If you did, hit the thumbs up button below and subscribe to my channel if you're not already. And I hope you have a great rest of the day. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.